that gray soil there?
Yeah.
That's a classic hydric soil for a wetland.
Yep.
So I'm told.
Yes, it is. Runs a bit of tiger rock. Oh yeah.
It's what one would say is in evidence in great abundance. This is an area that has not been delineated a wetland, so it's significant. We're trying to establish that the wetland actually is marked in a 1986 map extending up the ridge here, and is now no longer marked by the developer's guide. We're trying to show the developer's guide may have missed what was historically a wetland area, and this would then show that.
You were making, are either of these pits within 100 feet of the wetland?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think all the pits that we've been digging are west.
Yeah, but the difference is that a number of pits are being dug for court-ordered discovery, and a number of pits are being dug for other purposes.
We have Phil here from the City Sewer Project around 1991. It was 2006. Excavating at 604 Washington Street, which extends all the way down to the river.
Produce matrix with concentrations at 20 inches, dark under a dark day. Hydric to this point.
Yeah. Filling up good.
But the further ones there, they form a line.
Yeah.
Those further flags are where the current delineation is, and we believe or suspect that where those two closer blue flags, that if we dig there or auger there, we'll find that in fact the wetland extends further this way. And so what they're doing now is taking a soil sample proximate to that to see whether it indicates wetland material.
That was under there.
Can't be a wetland. There aren't any oil filters or shopping carts.
That's not funny.
Right about where I'm standing here.
So when we hit that, I mean, the pit was pretty darn wet all the way. It started filling up from seepage quick, but when we opened up that stone drain, that was a gusher, and water started coming in seriously. What we had planned for today was that we would open that little pit over there and that you would be able to see that, but when we opened that pit, that intersected the crushed stone drain as well. So, you know, for the moment, I'll tell you that there was a trench excavated here, and flow was collected into a crushed stone drain that was constructed here prior to the fill. But you know, I know that's all I got here. There's somebody else that have any questions?
Yeah, I'm based on what I've seen here, and then you know we can connect it up above. We got another trench we can look at up above the fill, but I would essentially agree with Chuck that you know the perimeters were relatively undisturbed, non-hydric soils. Some evidence of spoiled casting maybe in this area from when they dug the trench. And then about 3 feet down, you can see as you're walking back some of the crushed stone that was pulled out, clean crushed stone. And it was obviously flow. The bulk of it was coming in this direction towards us. And we picked it up again in that pit. We picked it up again in the trench up above the crushed stone. So it looks like that was probably, that drain was put in, you know, prior to the bulk of the filling. I would agree with that. And whether, you know, the question is, I think the bigger question is whether, you know, whether that drain was put in, you know, in an area with natural drainage. I mean, this shows as a swale prior to filling, or whether it was, you know, whether it filled an actual stream that may have been connected to something prior to the fill. You know, but yeah, that's.
What about the line itself?
I understand that line was added during the delineation review process. It wasn't originally delineated. at that point, did you identify hydric soils?
I identified glass, brick, and other household refuse in the soil profile. So,
Was it hydric brick, Brian?
yes, it was.
Don't dodge, buddy.
It was gray
That's at
with
the end of the
models
trench drain, that's
on
what
the
we
bottles.
That's what we probably developed since we drained it.
You've seen the end of the trench drain right there?
I'm assuming that's where it
Now, if you go to the
That's exactly.
stone wall,
When I asked
it breaks
Rich
out at the end.
and the staff, if they had time to stay, we'd like to bring the machine down, since they're really not able to see anything other than what we tell them. We are going to open up another hole on this side,
Which side?
on your left,
What for? Yeah, what
to
for?
see if we could
What happened with the line?
identify the end of the trench drain.
Why?
Why
Well,
ruin
because
it?
that was put in 1993, and if the end of that trench drain is in areas subject to the commission's jurisdiction at that point, I think that's something we need to understand.
I think that this wetland developed as a result of the trench drain. I don't think that wetland was here in 93. It doesn't.
Well,
it was delineated and it was determined
That willow right there is substantially the same, as is the one 15 feet behind it.
Behind us, we picked up elderberry, willow, jewelweed. You know, there are obviously a lot more indicators beyond this point. You turn into bittersweet and a couple of willows.
Where they found they hit the stone, the crushed stone again.
All right, what do we got here?
Bill, you can see actually the frost is actually showing you the depth of fill pretty much in there. You can see where the frost is coming out of the native subsoil, and then the looser fill is up above that. And then the pipe is approximately in where the trench drain was. Actually,
Oh, okay.
there's flow in there now. They picked up crushed stone down in there.
See.
They trenched right down into it to put in the drain. I mean, I'd say
the drain went back to this little pond back here? There's no evidence of a pond on it.
There's a little something back here.
Yeah, that's
Wetland area, probably a vernal pond at this point. Center.
bunch of clamshells in the lower A horizon.
Suggesting is that this is hydric soil.
It's a buried hydric soil. Nobody's contesting that.
How deep would you say the fill is here?
Well, the depth to indicators of saturation is at least 24 inches. There's no indication that there's saturation to the surface now. The hydrology has been altered.
Well, it certainly doesn't need to be saturated to the surface to generate wetland condition.
Sure it does. That's the definition of a wetland.
I think it can be saturated within the rooting zone. It could be defined as a wetland.
Saturation to
I
the
see
surface.
fill. I see fill back here. I don't see any substantive fill down there.
Yeah, I mean this.
I see the spoil berm adjacent to the stream.
Right, and there's an A horizon down here, the original A horizon over the hydric soil, and then this lighter colored A above it.
That's over waterproof.
Yeah. Lighter colored A horizon above that. And I think it's part of the spoil berm.
And you got all upland vegetation.
Well, you already argued that it was all upland vegetation on the other side, and then changed the wetland line over there, as we did right over here.
But you know that was conceded by others.
I conceded that. My experts said not to, but there's no reason not to concede it. We're not using anything over there.
Well, again, with the construction of the stream here, I think that this area is being effectively drained.